The story of Ilia Topuria is not just that of a fighter. It's the story of an unbreakable spirit that never learned the meaning of surrender. This is the journey of a warrior, born between borders, raised through battles, and crowned as the first undefeated two-division champion in modern UFC history. Today, you'll discover the life of a man who knocked out his fears before knocking out his opponents. Ilia Topuria, from the Matador to the legend, martial might, where warriors live forever. Ilia was born on January 21st, 1997, in Halle, Germany, to a Georgian family. His parents had fled the crisis and war that ravaged their homeland. He grew up with the bare minimum: a small apartment, one set of winter clothes, and a heart rooted in survival. He remembers how his mother locked the pantry so he wouldn't eat between meals, and he remembers training every day with real hunger gnawing at his stomach, filling that emptiness with strikes, holds, and grit. At the age of 7, the family returned to Georgia. It wasn't a return to stability, but to an undeclared war zone, with distant explosions and fear haunting the streets. That's where he discovered Greco-Roman wrestling, his first refuge. He trained in a ruined gym, worn-out mats, no air conditioning, broken lockers, but training there meant training in the same harsh reality that was shaping him. At 15, the family emigrated again, this time to Alicante, Spain. No Spanish, no friends, not even a bike to get to the gym. He walked kilometers to train, wearing torn pants but holding on to an unbroken dream. At Clement Club, they began to see him as different, that Georgian kid who was always first to arrive and last to leave. He started training in wrestling, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, and boxing. In a few years, he earned his black belt in jiu-jitsu, and his style became clear. He wanted to be the most complete fighter in the world, dominant both on the ground and on the feet. But what truly defined his evolution was his obsessive pursuit of perfection. In boxing, he studied hundreds of hours of footage of fighters like Canelo Alvarez. He didn't just imitate his high guard or his forward movement. He learned to read the opponent's subtle cues, to use the jab as a distraction, to go to the body and explode with uppercuts. He adopted the Mexican style of boxing: relentless pressure, angled attacks, punches that wear down before they destroy. In wrestling, his idol was Khabib Nurmagomedov. He admired him not just for his control on the ground, but for making his opponents mentally break before the finish. Ilia developed drills to break posture, control from half guard, and chain submissions through smooth transitions. He spent hours perfecting scrambles, clean double-leg entries, and escape reversals. He trained with larger partners to strengthen his technical and mental resistance. In defense, Ilia was even more methodical. He studied his own takedown entries in slow motion. He learned to anticipate takedowns before they happened. His sprawl became razor-sharp. He trained with resistance bands tied to his torso to improve balance when hit. In the clinch, he became unpredictable, escaping over the top, spinning to the back, or countering with short elbows. In distance control, he mastered the art of stepping back without losing offensive pressure. His defense wasn't just about evading. It was about positioning for violent counters. At 18, he left school to train full-time. He won his first fights in Spain with total dominance: his grappling, his power, his aggression. In 2018, he signed with Cage Warriors. He won by submission in the first round, but missed weight. There was no title. That was his first silent defeat. It hurt more than a knockout. He vowed never to lose again due to lack of discipline. His coach kept reminding him, "Your mind is your first opponent." In 2019, he signed with Brave Combat Federation. He fought in Colombia and Bahrain. 2 fights, 2 first-round finishes, a brutal knockout, and a swift submission. The level was rising, and the UFC could no longer ignore him. In promo videos, he was seen training with cold focus, planning every strike, every jiu-jitsu combination with gloves on. In October 2020, his chance arrived. He debuted in the UFC against Yosef Zalal. Total domination. The streak continued. First-round knockouts of Damon Jackson and Ryan Hall. In March 2022, he delivered a KO to Jai Herbert, applying pressure and finishing with a liver shot, followed by a cross to the jaw. Performance of the night. It was a key moment to prove that his developed boxing was real. No one else landed 3 punches and put an opponent to sleep so fast. In December 2022, he submitted Bryce Mitchell, a clean technical submission, no theatrics. He again proved himself a complete fighter. In June 2023, he faced Josh Emmett. Emmett came in with experience, knockout power, and resilience, but Ilia pressured him for 5 rounds. A perfect mix of wrestling, clinch, distance control, and defense. His most technical and strategic domination. Fight of the night. It confirmed he was ready to be crowned. On February 17, 2024, in Anaheim, he faced Alexander Volkanovski, the featherweight champion. No one had dominated him like that. In the second round, Ilia landed a clean hook to the chin. The king dropped like a statue. That image spread around the world. An epic, cold, and decisive coronation. He won the title and earned Performance of the Night, but there was still more to come. In October 2024, he defended his belt against Max Holloway in Abu Dhabi. Holloway had never been knocked out. Ilia trained with bells, pads, and resistance drills. And in the third round, a cross dropped Holloway. The invincible had fallen. Holloway's words afterward, "I've never been hit like that." Topuria rose to legend, stepping into the realm of the extraordinary. But then came the next step. Physical changes. Struggles making featherweight. He chose to vacate the belt, move up to lightweight. No one expected it. Everyone questioned him, but he allowed no hesitation. His mindset left no gray areas. The weight cuts were so brutal, they endangered his health. He made a conscious decision, set the pace, or be left behind. On June 28, 2025, at UFC 317, he faced Charles Oliveira for the lightweight title. Oliveira, the UFC's submission maestro, a veteran respected by all, a high-risk opponent. And Topuria knew it. He listened to Dustin Poirier's advice. Don't open up your guard. Mix clinch and pressure. The fight began with Oliveira chasing legs and submissions, but Ilia responded with sniper-like precision, balanced boxing, angular pressure, calculated strikes. At 2 minutes and 27 seconds of the first round, he landed a right hand to the chin. Oliveira crashed, lit up by the violence of the blow. KO. Ilia became the first undefeated dual-division champion in modern UFC history. Dana White couldn't hide his shock. This kid is a star. He's on another level. The historical moment was official. His record: 17 wins, 0 losses, 7 knockouts, 8 submissions, 2 decisions. Champion in 2 divisions without ever tasting defeat. Fluent in 4 languages: Spanish, English, Georgian, and Mingrelian. Recipient of the Order of May 2nd in Madrid, Honor Order in Georgia. Subject of the documentary Topuria, Matador. Social media project Invictos. Millions of followers and a vision to bring the UFC to Spain, fill stadiums, and chase the pound-for-pound #1 spot. But beyond the record, the belts, the stats, there's a voice echoing outside the octagon. Ilia has boldly declared, "I will be the pound-for-pound best in the world. I want to fill the Santiago Bernabeu with a UFC event." His words aren't marketing. They're declarations of war against mediocrity. Every interview, every press conference, every public appearance shows a man on a mission, not driven by ego. Charismatic, direct, defiant, his personal life is as disciplined as his training. He's in a relationship with Georgina Uzcategui, with whom he's built a family and has 2 children. For Ilia, fatherhood is a motivation, not a distraction. His children have seen him train, bleed, and triumph, and that gives him a purpose far beyond any belt. In interviews, he's confessed his greatest fear, not seeing my best version. And maybe that's why he trains like every day is a once-in-a-lifetime chance. Ilia is a Christian. He prays before bed. He carries his faith quietly, without boasting, but with conviction. He believes there's a purpose beyond the belts, that his story is written not just with punches, but with faith, dedication, and an inner strength that held him up when no one else did. He trains in Alicante with his brother Alexandre under the guidance of Dr. Aldo Martinez, who revealed Ilia was cutting weight even as a child, and his lifelong coach, Javier Clement. That team, modest but relentless, has forged one of the most complete fighters on the planet without the need for big names. In their gym, there are no cameras, only sweat, no influencers, only sparring, no excuses, only results. Mentally, Ilia isolates himself for hours before the fight. He listens to a phrase, "You don't feel the punches, you feel your purpose." He visualizes every strike. He trains with warriors who push him harder than his opponents. He tells his team, "Every training decides whether I sleep as champion or fight to become one again." What's next? A new reign at lightweight, title defenses, rivalries with Islam Makhachev, Dustin Poirier, Rafael Fiziev, and a clear goal, to be the undisputed pound-for-pound #1. His ambition knows no ceiling. He wants to represent 2 countries, in 2 languages, with 2 million stories behind his journey. Ilia Topuria is not just a champion. He's a phenomenon, a global inspiration for anyone who's ever felt boxed in by life. Because if a migrant child who trained without transport, food, or support could become an undefeated 2-division UFC champion, then you can rewrite your story too. That's how a legend is born. That's how an iron legacy is forged. That's how Ilia Topuria fights. Don't miss the next video. Click now.